Welcome everybody to Galarius Smite League. Today we have myself, Sarionicus, on chair 1, and we have Laffy on chair 2, here to bring you the game between VHS and Koomin and Zoomin.
Good
Gonna
evening,
be a
everyone.
banger.
Certainly a set to look forward to, that's for sure.
And so I've heard this is an absolute banger of one that we're about to watch, so it's gonna be great. How do you think with just looking at the players that this set's gonna look?
I as much I know that Koomin and Zoomin have had a little bit of a difference, and of course we have a lot of subs coming in for Koomin and Zoomin, so it's a little bit different for them. But I still think, even with the subs that they have, I still think Koomin and Zoomin are still prominent and on top, really.
And then
I mean, Kyran's just always just yeah, the number one mid laner. You can't go wrong, really. But of course, having to play solo, stepping in for who would be the UD player Sped. But been proven to shown his own mettle in himself. So yeah, I mean, he has his competition.
True, and we are going to go ahead and start off the bands right away. So far, nothing out of the ordinary. The big question mark is probably the tier, but that god has been performing pretty decently since his recent buffs. So, be very standard stuff going forward. Just Guan Yu, Capri, Daji, tier. Um, any like any like news on that tier? Because I personally think it's strong, but I didn't think it would be like a ban in this sense.
I I'm not so sure about that one either. I mean, I know that tier obviously definitely does have a lot of competition right now, being fairly favorable. Even before the buffs, he was quite strong, had a lot of flexibility. And I guess Koomin and Zoomin just looking to play it a little safe, I guess, because if the tier gets into the wrong hands of, say, Zeus, it could go absolutely wrong, considering that, well, now tier in his other stance has half of each passive, which when it's maxed, that's 25 power or 25 prots, depending on which stance he's in, and that's still quite a lot, considering all things.
Your
That it
soul
is.
is
That it is. A god who
mine.
already has a ton of power with Glad Shield. Gonna be kind of insane to deal with, but Thor ban, Vulcan bans, pretty standard stuff again. But then we go and see the Neja and the Hades and Camazotz.
This is a beautiful
How are you
night
feeling about
for
that
a
trade?
hunt.
Camazotz a little strange in my part, but I think the Hades probably a really good trade. I think for that Neja.
I mean, I feel nothing wrong with Camazotz. Camazotz, I think, has really shown himself, especially even after the Camazotz buff, that Camazotz can just be an absolute menace. And of course, mostly we've seen Camazotz in solo, and Camazotz in solo has absolutely been able to absolutely take control of games and just make mess, cause absolute havoc where he can. But even if we're just seeing a Camazotz jungle here, that still is quite a bit, and Camazotz still always will be very strong and very prevalent. Always a lot of disruption, always a good pickup, even though, of course, there are a few better jungler picks against him and unfavorable for him, but still nice to see him, and especially with how he is right now.
Yeah, and probably strong to know that your matchup is Neja and not something like an Awilix that will literally see you jump and grab you. Do see Ishtar and Kakulin also locked in. I've heard like Kakulin never can go wrong with that, but
They
the
will
Ishtar
all
is another one
obey
that
their goddess.
I'm a little confused by. Like obviously she's got her strengths, but haven't seen her in competitive play very much either in the top end or in community leagues.
Well, actually, that's kind of the thing. Ishtar has actually kind of seen quite a bit of play. Sometimes she hasn't been enough to where to the point that she's been banned yet by any teams by any point, but she is certainly quite a favorable hunter right now, and she does actually bring a lot to a team just with her one alone, and especially when that
Stay a while,
ability
won't
also
you?
recently got buffed. And with what we have now, which is Devos into crit meta for ADCs, Ishtar is just absolutely able to thrive off of that, and makes for one of the better hunters with save armor. Chernobog even.
Going into like Jingwei as well. Uh, Ishtar, obviously that diversity, as you just said, into a Jingwei. In my opinion, do you think we'll see anything in that dual lane? Just I think Ishtar and aggressive, but when I see a Jingwei, I always obviously think, okay, that lane's never getting ganked. As well as like a Cullen earlier became the hover was instead an RDO.
Well, I think that's gonna be. I think for both junglers, it's gonna be a little bit awkward because I mean, Ishtar, of course, is a little bit easier to gank than a Jingwei, but both of them are still fairly safe ADCs, so we might not see anything really. We may see like more focus in the mid lane from the junglers, and I would kind of hope to expect that because yeah, you're gonna look at solo lane. You're not if it is a Hades solo, you're not really going to be killing a Hades unless he doesn't have Devour Souls available. And RTO just at some point becomes totally unkillable. Like she just kind of exists. You can't really gank her. It's kind and if it was like Cullen, it would have been like Cullen. He gets that sovereignty online. He gets Glad Shield. He's kind of vibing. He's not really getting killed either. So maybe we could see some focus on the Ishtar, but Jingwei probably just a little bit more out of range, being able to keep a lot more safer than Ishtar. But we'll see how it goes.
Yes, that we will. That we will. Do go into the bans for the second phase, and all pretty typical ones. The Baba Yaga ban, not something everyone thinks of, but definitely a good one. And the Ganesh and Yamoja also being taken off the table. And as we're going in these last picks, looking at them, I'm thinking we need what mid and a support on both sides. Where do you think
Yep.
these guys will go for these picks?
Well, so far out of the sports, what we have out of the God pool left, I mean, there's still quite a few left. We have Bracken, we have Xing Shen, we have
There's no way out!
even Geb, and we do actually see Bracken coming out here, which is really good. In response to that, we saw Bacchus
Who's
also
ready to
a relatively
fight?
solid pick, not really been picked up too much, but something that I kind of do really favor, and I think is a good aggressive support. Which will, even though of course Ishtar will always have the lane dominance against the Jingwei in the moment, that will kind of help solidify that early game pressure. Of course, Gabrakan weighing in a little bit more and helping that Jingwei early game, but
Release the
feel a little bit more
Kraken!
on edge with that Bacchus and Ishtar lane more so than Gabrakan and Jingwei for the moment being. But in
Yeah.
terms of mid laners as well, I think we saw Yu Huang and Baba Yaga removed, and of course Vulcan as well. But there's still potential. There was Morrigan, there's Poseidon, which of course we saw picked up as well. I'm trying to think of who else. There's
Merlin?
rubbing my head. There's Merlin, maybe a Baron Samedi if you're feeling a little bit on a little bit of a side edge. Still a lot of great options, even Discordia as well.
Yeah, I definitely do think that the blue team here has definitely taken a blow against the other side, specifically taking this Poseidon away, because isn't that Cabrakan Poseidon combo pretty standard nowadays with how strong both those characters have been?
Yeah, I mean, you get a tectonic shift into a Kraken, that's quite a spell doom, but so taking that away from them does kind of alleviate a little bit, and will get to see setup with the Najarl into a Kraken or even a Bacchus flop into a Kraken. That's kind of really standing strong, but at the same time, if Kraken catches Poseidon within tectonic shift, you can just spell an absolute nightmare for that Poseidon. Even if Hades potentially catches him, it's just not good at all.
I mean,
I am
Hades
coming for
definitely not
you.
a easy god to escape from as we go into it, and it's a Thanatos last pick, which makes it Hades mid. Is that a thing nowadays? But definitely something to look forward to. So Hades mid, Thanatos. I'm gonna assume jungle. Have seen it in solo in a few instances, but as you said earlier, Laffy, Camazotz solos mid, making the rounds very successfully. this will be an interesting game because in most cases I'm not thinking Hades as a solo laner. I'm thinking Hades as a mid laner. I'm thinking of him as a solo laner. So this will be very interesting to see. How do you think that's gonna play out in mid? Like, obviously you said Poseidon gets caught by Hades, but there's also crippled Kraken against Hades.
Well, it kind of a coin. Hades in mid is always kind of a little bit of a coin flip. If you're able to play it well, you can, and if especially because it can be unexpected, you are able to catch a lead and be able to steamroll off of that. But in the sense that if you're laning against Poseidon, it might just be a little bit difficult for the Hades to close the gap. But if you can close the gap, it can spell a lot of danger for that Poseidon. So whether they'll be able to pull it off will just entirely depend on those players themselves.
And so we will see how these players make do with the match and their tools that they have taken into this game. I don't know. I'm just excited. I very rarely see a Hades in mid in any comp setting. I don't remember the last time I personally saw it, but it's gonna be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see how VHS combats that.
Well, unfortunately, the last time I saw Hades mid in a competitive scene, let's just say it went 0-12. It was really unfortunate. But you know, that's not nothing against the character. I mean, of course, Hades still always very strong. It's just more so a bit of an unfortunate thing that happened. We don't talk too much about it, basically.
Yeah. I was trying to like rack my brain for like the last time I saw it. I think the last time I saw it was like last season. Rosie actually pulled it out when their Morrigan was banned from them. And very interesting is blue buff invade was attempted, or purple buff invade was attempted by the side of this red of Koomin and Zoomin for this Kraken. Does manage to get out about 30%, 40% HP, so not too much. Didn't get the big buff, but definitely got the smalls.
Yeah, something that I don't think has really been present in GSL being a purple buff invade, and of course, had Mesh been able to get the actual buff itself, that would have been quite a bit of decent pressure that they could have deviated, but dude, getting the smalls does give a little bit of pressure experience towards them, but at the same time, losing so much health for that as well it's just not really sure if it's worth that little amount of XP when you're still not going to have a lane pressure, and even then, you lost the XP for your own purple buff as well, and you're just falling further behind, which is just further emphasizing that dual lane pressure, unfortunately.
I mean, if I remember correctly, that start is the ADC gets all of the buffs and will reach level 2 before the first wave. And then you with the sacrifice being the support. So, I mean, as long as it's just a support, Kabrakan already, as long as he hits the 3, should have insane pressure. But there is almost a kill. Shell does come out on the Kabrakan here. Does manage to save his life. The Ashtarmbach is definitely utilizing that heavy pressure that they drafted for. Already a little bit more exciting over in the dual lane than I was expecting.
I mean, of course, you do want to see, like, of course, yeah, with that start, you want your ADC to be level 2. You really want a Jingwei to be level 2 when it's not going to be that much different in the lane versus, like, the Kabrakan being level 2. If Kabrakan is ahead, or even if Kabrakan falls behind, it can just be a really tough condition for either side, and as we're seeing, Kraken just only about hitting level 2 off the next wave, suffered a lot and had to use his shell just to survive that. It's not really looking good.
Luckily though, it is Jingwei. Jingwei should be able to scale a bit better, and I will agree that Kabrakan is going to have to be a bit more careful. One of the biggest, most notorious weaknesses of the god being his immobility, so looking forward to seeing how that goes as a purple buff invade is done on the left side of the map. The Bacchus and Ishtar utilizing this pressure. Kraken is going to get stunned here. Might end up falling here. Is falling low. No abilities coming out yet, but the Mesmerize from the Ishtar comes out. And a kill. First blood going over to Slither in the dual lane for VHS.
Well, I mean, we're just unfortunately seeing that fall we're seeing that fall of the Kabrakan being behind, and it's kind of costing them, and now Slither getting that first blood, now catching up to what that little lead Jungwei has. So now that purple buff invade just effectively means almost nothing, and now they end up a little gold.
Ooh, Jingwei's gonna definitely a gold lead. Jingwei, that was what, like 70 to 80%, 75-80% of Jingwei's health in one just fight. Pressure from this VHS squad is nuts. I'll have to agree here, or I'll have to say here. As it does look like a little bit of action might be in the middle lane. Hades is going to go in. That is ult from both mid laners. Thanatos going up in the air. And Poseidon is forced to use his beads, and the fear. Being able to help confirm that Thanatos' ultimate does miss the scythe, so probably going to have to leave. But Hades here to grab him, but fire wheels come out of Neja. Is going to have to land. Hades is low, but Neja will take that win for now. As Koomin and Zoomin. Just glad to get that kill on Poseidon here.
Yeah, that was really just about what it. Once again, it comes to that mid matchup of just versus the player. Hades getting that ult off, getting those roughly 10% mitigations and roughly about 60 procs means you can just actually completely free. You're chilling.
Oh. Wave of retribution does come out of Ishtar here, almost gets the kill. But yeah, back to Hades. Yeah, I mean, you were saying it in the P's and B's that Hades, if he can get to that Poseidon, can kill the Poseidon. It's just a matter of getting there. And Poseidon, unfortunately, not prepared for the amount of damage he was going to take. Beads late, so he took so much more damage than he needed to. Ended up falling prey to that execute. But so maybe gonna have to play a little bit safer going into the future here.
If
Now
anything, what I would be expecting is that if that Poseidon wants to be able to try and like maximize damage output or self heal, if he sees a death from below coming in, just get that crack, just throw that crack in that ult. There's a pretty good window between death from below landing and you being able to instantly get a crack as soon as he lands, and that's gonna be, and hopefully before he ends up getting to Vortex. So hopefully, yeah, we can see, and hope that'll be able to maximize his damage output as well. Maybe even potentially turn on Hades and get a kill. But it just depends on if Poseidon will, of course, be able to have the reaction speed for that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to pull off his abilities correctly, able to get that Kraken off before Pillar of Agony, then that's going to be extremely helpless. Neja sash into the ultimate, does come out, does get the beats, and Neja will get the follow-up kill onto the Hades. Poseidon will pick up the kill off of the ultimate from Neja. On the other side of the map, though, Omega, this Jingwei, does fall, trades lives for the Slither. And dual lane, seeing a lot more action than I was anticipating, as well as the mid lane, as we were saying, was going to be the focus, is getting a lot of action as well. Albi's going to have to be very, very careful of those ganks, as now that the support has been moved in from the left side to the mid. The Sadie's going to have to be a little bit more careful with his engagements.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, Death from Below is a pretty long cooldown dash, so you do, and considering that's the only mobility Hades will have in access to you, you have to really be careful and precise with what you want to do and how you want to engage, and that's kind of why Blink on Hades is sort of needed, especially if you want to look for a safe engage without needing to sacrifice Death from Below.
Yeah, definitely something you need to keep track of. Definitely probably not the best relic first, especially into an Asia, as he did have his beat. The Hades did have his beats burned. But do we want to just talk about how Ardio died in lane?
Yeah,
I saw those Thanatos gank, but
I'm also looking at the build here. I mean, I'm seeing a Shield of Riga for item. That's not something that I would usually build first, especially against the Camisals. I'd rather just rush breastplate or any physical defense. I can understand that, of course, Rugrowth got buffed and you can get 20 power for free just by healing yourself. Of course, if you heal with Archeo 3, hey, there you go, you healed yourself, you have movement speed, and you get that power, but it's not really that worth building early. I mean, it's cheap, but stats just aren't really going to help you, especially early game.
Airstrike does come out. Thanatos is here on the left side. Blades of Retribution already down, so no escape for this Ishtar. Is going to have to use that third ability very, very well to be able to escape. Death from above does come out. Does not connect. Barely misses. The Jingwei having to trade a little bit. Hades now here as well. 4-man gank onto the left side of the map. And blue team, VHS, is going to go, instead of going for an objective that isn't even up, they're going to go for this T1 tower just to be able to take that safety from this Hades.
Koomin and Zoomin not opting for a Gold Fury either. That's really interesting. They definitely could have had... They had the ward vision. They very easily could have pulled for a Gold Fury. I guess they're just looking to take farm off the map where they need, even though they are still just a little bit far behind. Only about 400 gold, but back camps aren't really going to make up for that much difference, unfortunately, where easily... Unfortunately, though, no access to Pyromancer. The only thing that can stand is Gold Fury, and I think Koomin and Zoomin, if they wanted to make a larger deficit within the gold, they could have easily ignored everyone and sunk for that Gold Fury while they had no vision up.
Definitely would have been a strong play. Unfortunately, Koomin and Zoomin very much have vision on the left side of the map, but have almost none on the right side of the map. I mean, they had no idea that VHS was in the right side of the map. Could have been assumed maybe, but other than that, they might have been able to say, hey, maybe we don't pull this Gold Fury just because of how dangerous it is, and maybe VHS will come in and fight us. Who knows the logic, but looks like a fight over the left mids probably won't amount to much as Hades just uses his third ability. There's nothing you can really do about that, unfortunately. And Thanatos is lurking on the right side, though. Does look to want to do something. Pillar of Agni is used and does miss, unfortunately. Meaning that this fight in mid is going to amount to nothing unless Neja wants to engage on the Thanatos. Does miss the sash by the looks of it. And everyone will go back home and Mary back to their farming.
A little bit of an unfortunate player of Agni, I think we were just slightly missing off the range there, but it is what it is. Sometimes things happen, but to be very fair as well, Pillar of Agony is on quite a short cooldown, so some mistakes like that can be taken, especially when VHS seems to be kind of taking things fairly aggressive, and Koomin and Zoomin are just absolutely oppressive where they can. I mean, they're looking to pull this Pyromancer now. And we do see a few responses, but they walk away with it.
Able to really do much. Does look like the RDO does want to fight, though. The rest of the team come behind Neja, Bacchus, Poseidon. But Koomin and Zoomin said, nope, we got what we want. We want to dip and are completely home free. Kabrakan, though, does look like he wants to engage, but he's all alone. And unfortunately, I don't think that Thanatos is interested in helping you. Going toward the blue buff. Kabrakan does go to mid and doesn't look like VHS wants to deal with that. So nothing will happen there either.
Although it is interesting to see, while in that time, VHS did look to take away Koomin and Zoomin's Scorpion. Not a bad choice. Certainly something that I would opt to do if in a losing scenario of a Pyromancer. Still trying to take farm away and trying to keep up in gold, which actually now they are just a little bit ahead of gold from despite Koomin getting that Pyromancer.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Koomin and Zoomin, though they've been making big power plays, it does seem like that they're a little bit lacking on the actual farm. If I recall, how many times has Neja been caught in the Koomin and Zoomin's back camps at this point?
Quite a few, that's for sure.
So, it's just a matter of...
even Bacchus has had a wander in there a couple of times, you know?
Yeah,
a little bit fancy.
That is true. That is true. So definitely a lot of farm on the side of VHS here available as well. We can't forget this Ishtar has been absolutely bullying this Jingwei. We haven't seen a kill in a while, but every single time we click over there, I'm seeing a Blaze of Retribution forcing out an airstrike, and there's nothing we're having. But it looks like Tectonic Shift was used in the left side jungle. Jingwei does have to leave as Kabrakan peels her out. Everyone else backs up as well. Almost an engagement happens, but frankly, just the Jingwei will be leaving behind a little bit scarred, and everyone else will go back to farming. But it's just insane dual lane pressure, man. This Ishtar, just the utility that she has, but oh goodness, Artio, you found yourself in quite the pickle, haven't you? As does have the gank from the Thanatos here, doesn't seem to have the third ability now, just popping up, I would have to say. And does manage to get away until Blinkin from the Kamazots does manage to stop, but everyone's missing abilities! This Artio, you gotta hit your abilities, man. So Thanatos ultimate is coming out, does drop down, does miss. VHS does get the Gold Fury, knowing that the jungler is not over there, so he finally get the kill here. But unfortunately, on the other side of the map, is Kabrakan getting Blaze of Retribution after Windfire Wheels. And now Pillar of Agony coming out, catching the beats of the Neja, but unfortunately, Bacchus a bit too tanky to be able to shut down. And the rest of the fight's gonna end with a one death on the side of VHS all the way on the right side. And Gold Fury in favor.
You know, I rattled on about that Shield of Regrow, but that actually made a huge difference in Izus being able to stall so much time there. It's just the perfect combination of both cancelling abilities, running around, and just getting those regrow procs and making him faster. Because they're missing even more abilities, and that's just... Yeah, I'll give you that one, but I still don't think you should have built it first item, just being honest.
It's definitely a weird pickup, but I mean, it's starting to work right now. It's kind of crazy that it took them that long to kill this Artio, but unfortunately, that's just... Everyone has those off days where abilities are a little bit hard to hit. Even I will say that Kamazots is not the easiest god to hit abilities on. As it does look like a left side gank is happening. Ishtar a little bit more aware of it. It does have the Thanatos drop down on her, forcing down the beats. Hades is here, will confirm the kill with his 3. And now we got Neja coming in from the right side. Does use the ultimate to try and get some peel out. But to try and get out of the engagement, but now Bacchus and Poseidon in on the fight. Thanatos now 1 HP, forced to beat. Albi coming in with the Hades to try and peel. Does not have the ultimate quite yet, but it is close. Jingwei will get the ultimate. Hades now having that ultimate is going to use it in the midst of this fight. Gets the Poseidon and helps confirm the kill on the Bacchus for this Jingwei. 4 kills to 0 in favor of Koomin and Zoomin here. A crazy gank.
I'm gonna be honest, the only thing I saw was a collapse of a tectonic shift, surrounded 3 of them into a Devour Soul, and we just saw absolute massive Hades damage coming out. It took them a little bit longer than anticipated to secure the kills, but of course, they're not going anywhere, so they will all eventually fall. It's nice to see that. We're kind of seeing that effect now of Kabrakan and Hades being able to work together, a tectonic shift into a Pillar of Agony. Certainly gonna set up my dream, that's for sure.
Oh goodness, yeah, that would happen. I'm just surprised, right? Thanatos got to literally 1 HP, and obviously Thanatos is notorious for doing this, but to 1 HP and still managed to come in and have an impact. I imagine just through 1 scythe and then Hades just cleaned up with the Jingwei. So great play from Koomin and Zoomin. They definitely showing that they have a good bond, good trust in each other's abilities to be able to pull off a fight like that.
Well, I mean, Thanatos certainly does only need 1 ability, and once you get that scythe, hey, it's a 300 heal, it's a 300 damage ability. That's pretty big, especially early game if you can get it off. But of course, that's where this fine skill abilities come in. You have to trust yourself in the movement of the enemy, predicting the movement of the enemy to be able to hit them. If you hit it, you get graciously rewarded. Congratulations! And of course, if your team's present, then it rewards you even more because hey, there's a slow attached to that. Good luck getting away.
For sure now. As we're going into the rest of this game, is 4 people on this Kraken. They have Ishtar, they have Poseidon, they have Neja, but Kraken does come out. Kraken's low, caught in the Windfire Wheels, and Neja ultimate mate possibly doing it. And the Blades of Retribution finally gets the Kraken, but so many things were utilized. Pillar of Agony does come out, but a little bit too late, not able to give all the protections that Hades needs in time. Jingwei now a little bit caught out here, is going to have to run all the way to 2 tower, but Thanatos ulting up into the air. Neja gets the kill there, but now he's caught under the tower with a Neja ultimate not being enough. Thanatos ultimate coming out and catching him under that tower, netting at least 1 kill in return for the 3 that VHS just got on the left side.
Wow, I mean, Bracken was certainly tanky, that's one thing for sure. I mean, of course, Mail of Renewal, very, very good item, being able by 30 beat prop. And then I used 5 more for 5 stacks. It's like a total of almost 30 more. And on top of that, you get a giant burst heal when you end up getting those 5 stacks. So combine that with a Manticore Spikes, which is also 35 props. That's pretty good. I mean, that's 130, 140-ish props just by existing, basically, and being hit. That made him... that allowed him to survive quite a lot. He was able to tank a bracket, Kraken, able to tank a Windfire Wheels. Just so much he can soak, and that did allow Albie to respond. Albie tried to come in with that Pillar of Agony, but unfortunately had already taken way too much damage. That Pillar of Agony unfortunately wouldn't have done anything for him.
Definitely didn't help him very much, but Xanthos is now lurking. Does get the stun and the beats out of Poseidon here. On comes out of the Bacchus. Sash coming out of the Neja to get this in fight, but Tectonic Shift does catch them, but also catches them in the brink of a Blades of Retribution from the Ishtar. Ishtar does pick up Albie after they picked up the Neja. Now only one member of the red team, Camazot's cut out all on his own as the rest of the red team running away, trying to not die to this death ball that is now forming out of VHS. And looks like that they are planning to go for this gold period here as just a little reward for their efforts in that fight.
When you Kraken once again, you think you trap them, you think, oh gosh, we're doomed. And it's like, well actually, we can kind of turn this around and say, hey, you've trapped yourself inside here with us. We're going to make ourselves present. Here's Blades of Retribution. Let's stun all of you and let's just get rid of you all completely. Farewell. It's a very 50-50 situation with Kraken Wall, because of course Kraken Wall, absolutely amazing for your team, but can just be at the edge of death for your team as well, unfortunately. And I think we'll see that quite a bit in the aspect of these games. We'll see Tectonic Shift being absolutely favorable for this team, and then in times it will just absolutely hurt them, unfortunately.
I will say it did do a good job of separating the fight, but it's really hard to separate out the fight when Ishtar's coming from the angle you want her to come from least. This Ishtar has been popping off this game. Very much the star player, I think, out of the VHS. Had insane pressure out of the left side of the map, and on top of that, every single Blades of Retribution I've seen has connected in such a major way to get a kill. Albeit the Kraken one, maybe they'll go a little overkill when it's just Kraken, but you have a fight here in the mid lane. Kraken does come out, does get the kill on the Albie, and a kill on the Kraken, a double kill for this Poseidon. As I was saying, Ishtar popping off, but also Poseidon. But those Poseidon Krakens are kind of nuts. Over Annihilate, not giving his casters a moment to breathe as Camazot's now falls. Chiron, unfortunately, the victim of a Neja ultimate into just pure follow-up as Fire Giant now being killed by the side of VHS. And the red team, only 2 members able to answer it, Jingwei and this Xanthos, but unfortunately it's 2v2 out of the zoning, and VHS will get a clean Fire Giant out of it.
Well, seeing the Poseidon effect again, the way the matchup is played so interestingly in mid that like we can see if Poseidon hits that Kraken on Albie before Albie gets the Pillar of Agony, yeah, he's just gone. He has nothing really that can prevent that Kraken aside from, wow, Aegis.
Pillar of Agony.
Pillar of Agony and Aegis, but unfortunately Aegis just not being present, and Pillar of Agony, well, he was already CC'd by the Bacchus, so there is nothing that can unfortunately be done for him. He will just say goodbye and swim with the fishies. Or I guess the underworld, back in the underworld. Is there fish in the underworld?
I don't know about fish, but I know the lost souls over the river Styx. Maybe he's taking a swim in there.
True, probably needs a fresh shower from the river Styx. Yeah. All those lovely bones.
Lovely
tasty.
Oh goodness,
maybe tasty. I don't know. Hades isn't a figure. Well, I mean, in some representations he's a figure, but I mean, in our version of Smite, he's just a floating hood. Make with that what you will. A hood and a floating pair of eyes.
Definitely. Not sure how tasty the river Styx would be, but we'll say VHS is enjoying the taste of all the gold in their pockets from all these towers. Uh, Definitely just nice, clean tower sweep. Very, very well done by VHS. I did notice Yeet on the Nene had to blink away from the RDO, so that's just a relic that they don't have to worry about going into this next fight as well.
Yeah, I think VHS have a really strong team presence now, especially with this RTO. I mean, they're just about 10k up, I think about 8-9k up now. Even though the score lines are completely even, we're just seeing a lot of gold deficit from, I believe, objectives and farm.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing that the Koomin and Zoomin squad has been struggling with this whole game has been being able to match the farm the VHS has been able to do. But I mean, they've been doing a great job. They've had these power plays, where they'll have great plays, but unfortunately, VHS now coming together in this full 5v5 team fight phase just a little bit too strong. A little like those leads that they've been garnering and the small ones have been helping them push this giant one. So excited to see now. We have about quarter of the fire giant left. Third of the fire giant, I should say. If you're VHS, right? Are you trying to siege a Phoenix here? Or are you trying to take a win, maybe go for this Gold Fury, trying to get as much farm so you can even push this lead further ahead?
I would take Polish. I don't think. I mean, Koomin and Zoomin have a really strong Phoenix defense anti-siege. So I would say VHS would rather. I think they should really play it safe. If they can look for a pick, get it, great. But I'd say just take it on the slow end, get that Gold Fury, and wait for the next fire to potentially set them up for the next fire giant where they can bait them in maybe and take an actual fight and see what happens from there.
Yeah, definitely something to do. Was interesting to see that VHS was hiding, just trying to use Neja as bait. Definitely something I haven't seen in a long time, but definitely a fun little thing to watch. But yeah, I mean, probably just better for him to go safe, go for the fire giant, especially ward up for the fire giant. That Gold Fury definitely gonna help him if they have to defend afterward. With the recent buffs to give it tower defense. But we got the next fire giant, and all ultimates are up because there hasn't been a fight in like the past 2 minutes since the fire giant. That was the last fight actually. So definitely gonna be interesting to see how these two teams fight and manage to pull up to this fire giant, especially with Koomin and Zoomin being still a bit behind.
Yeah, but even then, still, Koomin and Zoomin still have able to almost meet up level 20 in quite a few areas. We have the solo laner and the jungler on 20. Jungler is both matching level 20, but not exactly being in the same gold department as we are seeing with that gold lead. But even though there is just a small little bit of a level deficit, Koomin probably could still take quite a few fights if they wanted to, and it seems like they are stepping up to this fire giant potentially.
Yeah.
How will they respond to that?
Who knows? But VHS definitely making sure that they win this vision war. There is not going to be a speck of this map that Koomin and Zoomin can walk on. The VHS won't have recorded perfectly ready to attack. And
I mean, that's why their name is VHS.
giant.
They are a video format recording tape, so having vision recording things will make sense.
The Kraken does get taken in the ultimate, does take the Kraken and the Windfire Wheels, but unfortunately, Neja was not enough, and this shard will fall from the damage from the canvas. Thana will die for his ult trouble going in there. Bak is barely able to get out with 1 HP. Fortunately, will lose the RDO on the side of VHS. Bit too hungry for their liking, but Kamazot's doing a great job disrupting the backline, and I'm pretty sure he's the only one who did any damage to that Ishtar, and that's the exact reason why that Ishtar died to the execute from Thana. Great execution out of Koomin and Zoomin. A little unfortunate Thana died, but I mean, we'll take the trade. No fire giant for our one jungler death. We'll take it.
It's something that was very suddenly interesting. I mean, we saw a Bat Out of Hell coming out when Kai was only still just about full health, and we saw 3 members of VHS infusing shells just rushing to look at him and try to engage against him. I'm not certainly sure why that Phantom Shell was used. It could have been used when the Kabrakan engaged with Tectonic Shift to keep its team members alive. And if Camazotz was looking to get away with the bat out of hell, even though he was full health and could have very well easily re-engaged, I don't think VHS needed to separate so strongly and look for, well, aim 3 members towards the Camazotz who's already damage immune and in the air. It kind of felt a little bit awkward, seems like, communications-wise.
Yeah, but definitely was awkward as we were going. Definitely an awkward fight for VHS, that is for sure. Their Ishtar maybe not having the best peel or the best like teamwork, but VHS once again making sure that they have this map fully warded. Wait, is that? Tell me I'm looking at like not a Hades build right now.
Oh, hold on, I need to like move the airbags from my eyes.
That's
what? Huh?
Is that Nick? We'll have to save that for another moment. Kabrakan does take the full brunt of Blaze of Retribution and Kraken, Bats Out of Hell, and Death from Above, both coming out. Hades will get the kill with the Pillars of Agony. Ishtar falling to the Kabrakan afterward. Phantom Shell does come out. RDO trying to run her best away, but Shield of Regrowth, for some reason, still pulling up in this fight, but not well enough here. But great fight out of Koomin and Zoomin. Great easy fire giant if they so choose, but why Mannequin Scepter, Hades? That's my only question.
The only thing that I can make it make sense is Hidden Blade.
Even Hidden Blade?
With an engage with Death from below, but
like, yeah, your whole thing is gonna be Death from below. You don't have Blink. This Hades doesn't have Blink, so he's not gonna like Blink Pillar of Agony for a giant hit, or Blink 3 of the entire enemy team, or Blink 2/3, I should say. I'm just confused, man. Like maybe we're gonna see like Poseidon just get absolutely one shot. Maybe I don't know, man. I just see a Mannequin Tin Blade on Hades, and my brain goes, what?
I'm speechless. I'm genuinely speechless. I've never seen that item be built on Hades, and yet here I am.
I bet there's so many casuals.
I've seen weird builds. I've seen so many weird builds. No, this never has thought to cross my mind. I'm just.
I mean, let's be honest though. When was the last time Hades was meta before the recent Bancroft's Claw glyphs came out? Let's be honest with that one.
I think that was just more so people kind of forgot he existed. Then Bancroft's Claw happened, and even when Bancroft's Claw came out, Hades is kind of oh me kind of slept on, and then Hades got his tier 5, and it's like people were like, oh yeah, Hades exists, let's play him. Oh yeah, he's broken, awesome. But there we go, Hades, congratulations.
Broken as always with those. I think it's 120 or 140 prots of each, plus 10% damage mitigation. That Pillar of Agony.
Oh, it's
yeah, no.
Let me tell you, it's 160.
Oh my, no, you can't keep getting away with it. Oh, that is Pillars of Agony. That explains so much why he's so tanky in my games. Just hits 4. Might as well be the support at this point.
That's why he's running solo. You get the Chain of Steel, you get the double stacking build. You can hit for as much damage as you want, and you can still have pretty much almost capped prots. So, certainly an enjoyable experience.
I also wanted to be said, I forgot about this stat for a second until it just came up, but Mannequin's Hidden Blade has like, I think a flat 10 damage reduction on it. So, 10% and like 5 damage reduction. So it's like, maybe not the best, but Ishtar jumping in, does get caught by TikTok. Bro, you're just gone! The Koomin and Zoomin definitely ready to punish an Ishtar that, I don't know if that was a fat finger or if he was trying to catch someone, but definitely a misplay out of the ADC of VHS. As just was in the air, does come down. Deja will get the kill on the Kabrakan, but unfortunately, not much can be really done. Pillars of Agony is down, so no more of that to be able to fight VHS here. Does have the ult come out of the Bacchus though, and that's gonna be like the disengagement from Koomin and Zoomin. They got the Phoenix, they're done. They don't need anything else there. Kabrakan has fallen though, so they will be lacking a tank here in this fight.
You know when Ishtar says, condemn them to the underworld? I think that was very much negated, and she got sent herself back to the underworld. Just so snapped. Thanos snapped. I tried to get
Thanos snapped and Thanatos snapped right in two as he blinks in, takes a full Poseidon combo to the face. Neja and Ardio on this Jingwei, and Hades does get the ultimate back off, as Neja does on the Hades, does bring him down. He's low health, does manage to use the death from a blow to get out, but unfortunately can't get far enough. But thanks to good old Bacchus knockup, Jingwei manages to get a good way out, but unfortunately VHS is chasing. This might be a game, like Kraken did just come up, so you can peel out, but Jingwei is too low to fight. That's Dash connected. Maybe we're looking at a game 1 victory for VHS, but
are we looking at a regrowth meta? Both of them have the regrowth, and that's why they chase so hard, I think.
Oh,
what is going on?
What? I don't know. I don't know if VHS, like, you know, saw some hidden tape that none of us have seen and just says Shield of Regrowth is meta, build it. But we do see Neja does get the sash off, but unfortunately it doesn't go through walls. So maybe that was a Bacchus time. But Thanatos on the backside does dive in. Unfortunately doesn't able to do much, but Neja almost falls, does indeed fall to the whirlwind ability from Jingwei. And VHS now being pushed the other direction.
You know what? Just for seeing the technology shift being used to delay them VHS getting the Phoenix. Can Ordered Mess go to UD, please? I've never seen a support using an ultimate ability like that just to stall getting a Phoenix. Just because, hey, Kraken Wall technology shift is deployable, takes 3 hits to destroy. That is a second longer just to deal more damage to the Phoenix. That's something that usually no supports players ever usually consider. So pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong strategy. Definitely reminiscent of like Ymir Wall. Obviously, an ultimate ability cooldown over just a basic ability cooldown. But Pyromancer will go to Koomin and Zoomin. I'm just surprised that Ardio got to get away with teleporting right in the center of the entire Koomin and Zoomin squad there. That in the hell does come out. Tectonic Shift and a Phantom Shell comes out to counter. Thanatos now in the air, but Ishtar very, very low. Does get caught by the ultimate ability from Thanatos, but Poseidon there waiting. Does have the Kraken at the ready. Albi does manage to get Pillar of Agony off to get a kill on Poseidon, but unfortunately does fall to the Bacchus right after. Jingwei does dash in onto the enemy. Ardio does get caught by Sash and catches the ultimate, but does beat just in time. Airstrike comes out to get a little bit of a flank on the enemy team, but it's just the Jingwei versus 3. No matter how low their health bars are, that is still 3 people, and Lagosaurus Rex will get the kill onto Jingwei here. 2 for 5, that's... You don't have an ADC, but, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, there is a fire wave walking up into that Titan, so they are going to get a little bit of Titan damage. I don't think they have the timers to end, but they are looking to end. I
mean, Neja hits for big numbers, does have Deathbringer and that second ability to give an extra crit chance. There is the possibility. There are no enemies to bounce your ring toss off, unfortunately, so you're going to have to just count on that base deduction from the first hit. Ardio is going to do the best her attempt to stop them, but Thanatos goes up in the air, does miss the ultimate, and VHS is hard sticking this. Thanatos gets 1, gets 2 kills onto the side, and 3 triple kill for the Thanatos. Koomin and Zoomin, Thanatos here. I respect it, right? I respect it, but unfortunately, you're going into a Thanatos Kama being your next people up, and Thanatos is a little notorious for this thing he's got called an execute. It does miss it, but the damage numbers still come out plenty insane. Only thing is, Koomin's gonna have to be very careful not to have a Ardio TP and just solo their Titan at this point.
Well, thankfully, they don't have any wards on that top side of the map, so they should be fine. Of course, Titan, though, just sitting on a little slither of health, probably around about 1,000, so anyone could walk up and get it, but as long as Koomin and Zoomin are able to get that mid Phoenix back up, that Titan will be sitting happily and healthy, and a Mannequin's Hidden Blade coming into effect. Cotton, the enhanced fire giant actually pretty low.
Yeah, it does have fire. VHS steals it and gets the kill in Hades. I was thinking Poseidon's gonna go for a steal. It's fine, it's fine. But Kraken does come out for that steal, so that is no mid cooldown for the side.
That wasn't a Kraken.
Wait, that wasn't Kraken. Wait,
he stole
it with Whirlpool?
He stole
I
it with Whirlpool and Riptide.
I swear I heard the. I'm gonna be 100% real. I swear I heard that Kraken cooldown, but amazing steal from the Poseidon does deny the possibility of Koomin and Zoomin from just running down their base, and not only that, but kills the Mannequin's Hidden Blade Hades immediately afterward, just taking a little bit too much damage from that Fire Giant. That's huge. That's huge. I only have Fire Giant on 2 people, but that's a huge steal, I think, and they're gonna run it down mid, trying for this next fight.
Mid Phoenix is now back up though, so that Titan slowly getting a little bit of healing up. However, there are only 2 members present with Enhanced Fire Giant, of course. It is the most important members, the Poseidon and the Ishtar.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's still have Fire Wave a little bit up as well, so it definitely is possible.
We do see a Blaze of Retribution come out immediately. Kraken's Tectonic Shift will come out. Thanatos ult does land. Kraken does not quite meet the mark of his target. Does get the Thanatos, but does indeed get a kill no matter what. The Thanatos has fallen. Now we have Kraken here, but Ardio just running in there. And they're just going to end. Pillar of Agony can do the best that he can, but unfortunately can't do as much. But what? Just the Jingwei and Bacchus, oh my goodness, the Jingwei's autos being able to take it just that little bit further. This Titan, right, is on a freaking lifeline, and Koomin and Zoomin is not ready to pull that plug quite yet. Holy heck.
Grandpa, it's not your time to go. You might be 99 years old, but you're kicking. You're kicking. Get him, son. Wow.
This is...
And that's the thing for Koomin and Zoomin. Their siege, their defense siege is just so optimal that you just can't really do anything against it. Even if they fully tried to fully commit to that, and twice, and they still acted out. Just coming short, just absolutely a little bit short, being unaware of what members are present and what is available to them. You know, they get to walk away with the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. I am pretty sure I just saw like 4 or 5 different run down the lane to go end the Titans in a single match, and each time it just, oh, one time people die here, we're gonna push it back. There's people die, back. And I respect VHS for going for that. That is definitely the play that they should have done. Didn't have enough people, but unfortunately, Koomin and Zoomin have a Hades, have a Camazons, and have a Jingwei with 110% AoE crit stim for 3 autos. So great play out of both teams. That it was a joy to watch, just seeing them run down. But
I'm just flabbergasted. There's so many different conflicting things that just happened. I see a Mannequin's Hidden Blade Hades. I see a double Shield of Regrowth coming out from the jungler and the soul laner. I see 2 failed attempts at just trying to commit to ending a Titan. And it's just it's so bizarre. It's so unique. There's just no words for it, really.
yeah, and unfortunately, I'll say this now. Ishtar was definitely not able to slither out of any of those engagements in any way. I'm pretty sure I saw every single fight. Ishtar would step up, try to pull a Blades of Retribution and see, oh, I'm gonna get as many people as I can, or get these front people, and then we'll just get tectonic shifted and just die before anything. Like I don't even know if the Blades came back before she died half the time.
Look at those numbers, though. Poseidon coming out with a hard 42k. Hades just a little bit not too far behind, and Jingwei also just a little bit ahead of him. Yeah, wow. But
I will
certainly
say
what. Go ahead.
it certainly was a strong match. I will say big numbers. I'm pretty sure I saw Poseidon Kraken connect with Thanatos' dome almost every single time Thanatos tried to come down and kill someone, whether he did get a kill or not. So definitely some big numbers.
I was certainly more expecting it for against Albi whenever he'd use Death from below to get that instant Kraken so he can't kill her from above and do what he's supposed to do, but more so saving it for the Thanatos, which of course can make sense as well. Doing it against either of those works really, really well. So, yeah, it makes sense.
As we're gonna go ahead and take a small little break as we go into the next match, get everything set up, and we'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Uh,
God.
Welcome back, Glarious Might League, to Game 2 between Koomin and Zoomin and VHS. After a very, very interesting Game 1, a lot of back and forth fighting, but I don't know what to say about that game.
Just a lot of weird things, and I'm not so sure if I'm ready for game 2 if we're gonna see a lot of similar things, and well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think I was gonna say I definitely think we banned something, but what do you ban there? It was just like back and forth, both teams. Maybe the Hades. Just don't let Kuma and Zoomin have the Hades, because it's very apparent that the Hades definitely helped out a lot in those engagements, just getting his damage off with the
But
160 prots plus 10 damage mitigation plus I have Bancroft's claw.
Camazots.
I will say Camazotz was an unsung hero, very very strong. The amount of times Ishtar or Poseidon was getting absolutely freaking harassed was insane.
Well, I think production is trolling us again with no streams, so but bans so far coming out standard. We do see VHS actually banning Hades, opting to ban Hades this time around. Oh, there we go. We're
I
not
mean,
being trolled anymore.
that Hades literally just came and said, "I gank, you die." Cool. One specific moment I can remember is that gank all the way in left lane where it's a 4v4, and what happens? Kuman and Zoomin straight up gets out of there with 1 HP on like half their members. Uh,
Da-da-da-da.
yeah, it's just nuts, nuts character.
That's
But
Hades for you. He just has a lot of flexibility, especially just because of Pillar of Agony. Wow, the prots, amazing.
yeah, definitely amazing. As does the other changes in bans, I will say, is the Neja. The Neja has now officially been banned out instead of the tier this time. A lot less questionable in my mind, especially since that Neja was a big problem in the fights.
Yeah, and of course it makes absolute sense considering Najad's very prevalent jungle god with the recent mega buff that he got, providing him, well, just giving him protections whenever he feels like it, whenever he uses his ult, really, and just a little bit of splash of
They will
differences
all
for Dash
obey
as
their
well, just giving a
goddess.
little bit of a lower cooldown for an ability that already isn't affected by diminishing returns. And with the recent diminishing returns changes, hey, non affected by diminishing returns abilities suddenly are very favorable. Who would have
Yeah, I mean,
thought?
kind of say, do we want to talk about Ishtar top pick? I know we said it was a strong pick, but is it like a top pick strong pick? Am I missing something here?
I mean, in a sort of way, yes, because she's very good. She's very present, especially in lane and in late game. Once again, with the crit build and stuff, she is very prevalent, and she is certainly very top right now. But of course, there are a few counters to her, but nothing too much. Say something like Cupid can absolutely ruin her, and Cupid always still at the top contenders as well, and being able to go into the crit build as well. So maybe we could even see Cupid potentially come out to combat this Ishtar, but
Uh,
it's in the
you
air.
know, you know what I'm not expecting to combat in Ishtar? An Opwash response. I'm not gonna lie. We're
Um,
talking Ishtar, and I saw that, and my eyes just go wide. I'm just sitting here speechless. I'm like, "Yep, please, Laffy, please keep talking, because my voice isn't gonna work seeing this."
uh, uh,
Opwash
um,
Geb.
um, do I need therapy? I feel like I need therapy after this. Now the Kraken's being locked in. Sweet dreams. Uh,
So
uh,
here's the thing, right? If they had locked in Opwash Kabraken, maybe I'm like a little bit more like, okay, that's good, that's a decent idea.
oh,
That's not a terrible idea. But like, I'll push Geb. So then it's just like, if the other team picks Kabraken, right? Which I think they should have 100% locked that in immediately. That's just a dead I'll uncle then, right? Am I right on this? I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I would very much hope so, unless there's something that's going to be different to that Aposh. And know that that can happen because I've
There's
played
no
so
way
much Outpost
out!
solo where I
Time
just
to
ran the
burn!
upgraded movement speed breastplate just built towards picking up my corpses and just getting infinite like 200 health from the corpses and picking them up. So I know things like that can happen. Maybe we'll see something like that. So then,
Today
like,
I
doesn't
am
even matter if
judge,
you pick up the
jury, and
Kraken.
executioner!
He's just not dying. He's just going to be
Yeah.
running around picking up corpses unless you anti-heal and put focus on him.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Agni, a good counter, I would say, into that. You just at range, Divine Ruin. Um, I don't think that's Upwash solo this time. I'm pretty sure that's going to Albi's hands, unless he on the Nene is absolutely ready for a tier jungle game. I don't know. I can't say. But how much you want to bet on this? Whether or not this Upwash goes Mannequin's Hidden Blade again? Because this is
No,
Albi we're talking
no,
about, right?
no, please. It has to be. Surely it has to be the alternate timeline. Surely.
Just literally sits there, ults, and then dies in his own ultimate. So everyone's like, "Wait, he's not." Oh no!
Eh,
Oh
I
goodness.
mean, alternate. I mean, if you were to go for like a bruiser build, like with the breastplate of vigilance, alternate timeline does exist. It gives you 45 of each procs. It gives you a 5 minute sort of, I guess, invulnerability, and then eventual second revive. Yeah, I would figure something like that. I'm sure we won't see like Diamond Arrow or Wash or anything, right?
I mean, we could maybe we don't know, but continue with the bands. Got Ravana and Kamazots this time. VHS not a big fan of the Kamazots, and definitely don't want to see it in the jungle. Or if it goes solo and Tier just decides to be the jungler for a game. The other side answering with Sasano, RDO, pretty standard stuff. Just strong picks, get them off the board. Uh, and we talked about Tier earlier, how it was just a really annoying pick whenever he was banned in the first game. Annoying pick, got the recent buffs, has a lot of power. Um, my brain's thinking that's gonna hurt an Alpwash ult. Alpwash ults, Tier Fearless, Geb Cataclysm.
And
Clear
as you're seeing,
out!
potentially a Humbat to Fear No Evil. That's just ouchies combo. If you get caught in that, that's a lot of death. There's no way escaping an all partial damage, especially when you're being feared into it. Never mind that you can have a cataclysm into a Fear No Evil, then have the all partial thrown out that. There's just so many different combinations that can happen. It's scary, that's for sure.
Um, I'm starting to think that Koomin and Zoomin have decided that they want to play volleyball amidst the crypts that Alpwash releases
Onwards to
with
victory!
the bodies of VHS at this point. That's just what all this copy, as you said, Fear No Evil, Cataclysm, Fearless. That's a lot to deal with. Obviously, there's a lot of safety there as well. Ishtar can just go in the Blades of Retribution, gets that moment of CC immunity. But like Agni, you get caught, your dash gets caught, you're dead. Kabrakan, you're just dead. We saw it multiple times last game where it happened. Is Lancelot is being hovered. Nike gets locked in for the side of VHS. I haven't
Put
seen a
your
lot of Lancelot
foolish
recently, but
ambitions to
I
rest.
feel like that's a really, really good pick here. I mean, you can't. What? There's one stun so far on the entire team.
Yeah, there's only one. So far all we have is the Cataclysm off of Gab. Fortunately, Upwash does have it with his breath, but fleeting breath, but no healing really any present to be able to proc that. So unless of course we do see potentially a med from the support, then there is always a potential that fleeting breath can stun and that can stun that Lancelot, but very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Incoming!
Yeah, and as long with that, there is no present player-made walls on the enemy team, so that Lancelot is able to just pretty much walk around and chill, unless he gets demounted, which also still is very high potential with the damage from Humbat.
Or gets caught with the release of the crypts, that ultimate ability out of Opwash. The only thing I'm gonna be extremely amused if this happens is that can screw over this Lancelot, I think, when he's trying to escape, is if Cabrakan tries to wall to help him escape and mistimes it, or tries to catch the enemy and manages to block the Lancelot. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I feel like it'd be very amusing if that did happen.
That would certainly be something really unfortunate, that's for sure. I'm really interested to see how this Nike will play out. Of course, she has two immunities, so she is able to prevent at least to a degree some of the damage that Tira has. But what she will do, what she'll go into, certainly, and how much more she'll be able to be, how much more effective she'll be able to be than the Tira certainly can be something that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, Nike, being the god that she is, she's not bad. Like, she actually is managed to have a lot of pressure. I think the biggest thing that she'll have to struggle with this game is probably the fact that Tyr also has a lot of pressure. And in fact, recently, I could quote a streamer on this, is recently been called a pressure bot in lane. So I'm curious
I mean,
how the Nike's going to be able to play into that, especially since it mid fearless, you can't stop a Tyr mid fearless with your knockback on the 2, so he's just going to walk through it and you're both going to just take damage, or while you take wave out. It's going to be very, very, in my mind, a stalemate of a solo lane unless Tyr Koombats can manage a good gank onto this Nike though.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be certainly a stalemate, but I'm kind of more leaning towards this Nike, and I hope, as probably Nike will probably end up with a lot more CDR than Zero will, but depends what really both go into, and we do see Warriors Axe coming out from both of them, so it is a certainly strong start. I mean, Nike, as you said, she wasn't really seen too well, too lightly versus because of, well, unfortunately how Nike is as a character, and you got soloed.
Yep. You
It
I don't know
didn't
what happened
affect
there,
Tyr,
but
right?
there's two full waves, and Nike decided hitting one, and hitting the tier was a good idea on a full wave. Lancelot does try to come over to catch the totem, as most junglers are, but
I
he
think
gets
the
it?
thing I'm seeing is we're not seeing a solo laner affecting the damage of both the enemy solo laner and the minions, so you're just kind of eating up way more than you need to. It just means you're dying because you're already casting, so you're already casting Ren, so what can you do, really?
And it's already, like, you know, can be 100% honest. Neither side was level 2 there. There's a little scuffle in mid. Agni does not quite have those noxious fumes yet. Neither does Offwash have that corpse explosion. So both teams just basically gonna throw abilities at each other with no utility to follow.
I don't think we're really going to see many corpse. I'm hoping we're not going to see many corpse explosions. I want to see those corpses get utilized so much for what they can be, and it's just that healing and cooldown reduction that they provide for the rest of his kit.
I mean, you can't deny how hard that explosion hits though. I mean, the bodies hurt, especially that fleeting breath with the dot damage. But like,
I mean, of course, and you can just use fleeting breath with corpse explosion, but just leave undead surge as it is. Just, you know, throw it against the wall or just throw it forward, cancel it, pick up those corpses. Hey, look, there's your cooldown back for corpse explosion. There's still a little bit of cooldown back for undead surge too. Here's a 100 heal on top of that because our push passive is weird in its scaling sense. Being based completely off of our push's max HP, which in turn, with the health buffs that were health change that was made, makes it a lot more powerful than I think people expect.
definitely a powerful thing, but do have a gank coming from Koomin and Zoomin on this left side. As VHS did extend a little bit too far for the scab kill. Does force out the Ishtar's beads to avoid getting knocked up and potentially comboed there. But that Apache did have to rotate out of mid lane for that gank, and unfortunately he's going to lose a wave to the tower. Probably showing signs of how this VHS's mid lane managed to get ahead. Is Gab and Jingwei a little bit, they do get the purple buff, but unfortunately pay for it with the life of Gab.
Yeah, unfortunately, the pressure really does show the difference between the characters that we played. Of course, we had Darkness and Ishtar in the first game, absolutely being able to dominate that pressure, but at the same time, Ornamental that Kraken being able to somewhat hold a little bit and being able to help that Jingwei just a little bit, even with a few ganks with Tectonic Shift. But now it's Geb. Geb isn't really a Guardian known for pressure, more so for late game Cataclysm ults and being able to provide peel just with Stone Shield alone. So, and especially with them having that Kraken now on their side, definitely way so much more different from the dual lane.
Ishtar does get the kill, does get the beats. Tectonic Shift does catch the dash off the Jingwei. Jingwei does use the knockup to try and save herself, but unfortunately not quick enough. Had already lost her dash, and unfortunately, getting yourself knocked up is actually a deficit at that point. Great fight out of there. Geb does knock the Agni back, catching him his dash, but unfortunately Outflush cannot follow up. What? This is mid-mid. And Nike dies to a Zoombats game. I was about to say you just got soloed again, but Zoombats was there. It does look like Zoombats did not use the ultimate. Tyr used the ultimate. Interesting.
To say how this matchup should be, that Nike is really unfortunately not having a good time. Maybe just falling a little bit short of being CC'd by Fearless into the wave every time, just when Ren ends. Because of course, Tyr, even if you are knock-up immune into ability, Tyr can just wait that out and then use the Fearless, and then hey, there's all the damage, and you've taken a lot of it. You've also taken minion damage for probably hitting Tyr with Ren while being in the middle of the wave. It's not looking great. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I think the more that they shut down this Nike, the less and less useful that Sentinel of Zeus ability is going to have in these fights. I mean, if you're like 2-3 levels behind, doesn't matter how much health you have. But Geb Cataclysm does come out out of release from the crypts, does come out. Fear No Evil combo that we were talking about in the start does come out. Noxious Fumes a little bit too late out of the Agni though to help heal himself out. And that does get the kill there. Kraken wants to get a little bit more follow, but Lancelot, not quite there. But Blaze of Retribution does come in, catches the Humbats and feeds, but unfortunately will catch about nothing else as the Zoomin's like, we got to kill. We're good to back off. We don't have to keep fighting you. Do use 3 ultimates for that though.
Certainly an interesting rotation, something that could have ended out well, but just not able to meet anything, unfortunately. Of course, forcing beats will always be good, especially against a jungler, because then that means that, well, they can look at it, they can look against pressure against him in mid with Geb and Offwash. Potentially get a kill, especially if they can prevent him from demounting. But of course, Lancelot does have the Grand Joust available for him. He does always have that get out of jail free card, but only if he can make it to the end of that Grand Joust and get his maximum shield. If he's caught in empty the crypts and low while he's trying to get the Grand Joust off, he will still very well die, unfortunately.
Yeah. I have to be very, very careful in this mid lane now without his beads. As it does look like VHS is trying to go for a gank on the Jingwei. They did get her beads. Another great Tectonic Shift does force out the airstrike though. And Jingwei will be sitting there nice and pretty. Both ultimates traded out, but I believe Kabrakan probably the more worthwhile one. The one who got the better value with the shorter cooldown.
That's an hefty 75 seconds of Tectonic Shift versus...
110.
I believe it's closer to 90 for airstrike if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense, but that is still 15 seconds. We timed that right. That's not that great. As Blade's Retribution does come out, does catch the Jingwei beats again. Geb does come around, does use the shield to help, but Jingwei thinking she could go in, does try to go in. Fear No Evil does come out to kill the Ishtar as another 4-man gank onto the left side game in this left side lane in game 2.
That is really unfortunate. We did see the Ishtar try to dash out of there, but as she was completely surrounded by 3 of them, but unfortunately she does get that dash caught, and that just signals even more doom. And of course, she tried to put her, because the Jingwei was stepping back up, was confident, trusted in her team, tried to take away that Jingwei, tried to trade her, but just not lucky enough to get there. And does meet the full combo of Opwash kit, that's for sure.
If there's one thing Opwash has, it is definitely damage in every game mode. There's a reason the god doesn't get very many buffs, and we see them usually outside of Conquest. But right there, we just saw the damage output is nuts. So I don't know, man. This is gonna be very interesting because you know, the last time I saw an Opwash in like a serious comp match, it was an SPL back when like, what was it? The Book of the Dead breastplate meta was a thing.
Oh,
So,
the double stacking with Book of the Dead. Oh.
yeah, you got like Book of Thoth, Breastplate of Valor, Book of the Dead, and you just literally have so much mana and don't die. But it does look like VHS is looking for a gank onto this red buff. They do come here. Lancelot comes in, does get 2 stuns off the Agni. Opwash is forced to use beads and ultimate, but unfortunately, Kabrakan indeed does screw over his Lancelot by walling him off of the kill off of the Albi. Albi does eventually die, but more abilities were used than necessary. Jingwei's little puff of air does kill the enemy mid laner. And unfortunately, this fight going very much in the favor of Koomin and Zoomin. Ishtar is going to have to be answered, but Kabrakan does fall finally to Yeet on the Nene. Ishtar, very much like, I want to kill you. Please come over here and die. And now Nike over here as well, trying to help kill this Geb, but unfortunately, left her Ishtar behind to deal with the tier. Very angry Norseman is about to absolutely knock some sense into Ishtar.
Nike unfortunately missing most of her kit as well, not being able to match any damage to that against that Geb, so he's just able to get a roll, out. Absolutely free. Not alive. Holy fake.
Alive and back in lane.
They saw him rolling and they were hating indeed because they couldn't kill him. Can't catch him.
Oh goodness, yeah, definitely a safe god indeed to be able to get out like that. Both teams, it looked like there might have been some more action leftovers from the last fight, but have to just go back and get some farm up. I will say this Agni that was a really strong stun, noxious fumes off of the Agni there. That started off that engagement. I believe VHS. Something went wrong in that fight for VHS to have lost that, but Koomin and Zoomin definitely did a good job on the other side. As another steal.
That was.
They caught it. 2 Agni Bombs OP. As it looks like the Tectonic Shift does catch Albi out here. And unfortunately, not much you can really do there. Does get the beats out of Agni. Fear no evil, Cataclysm, and Release the Crypts both all come out. Unfortunately, Lancelot's Grand Joust catches him under tower. He does get the kill, but he's going to fall to this Humbats.
Available.
I mean, you trade jungle for mid, but like, it's jungle for mid.
And that, you already lost your mid laner just from the deadly combos we expected. Cataclysm into empty the crypts into Fear No Evil. Can't mess around. Those 3 absolutely strong team fight ult. Yeah.
Zone control. That is all I can say when I look at this Koomin and Zoomin.
And unfortunately, what we saw with that Lancelot, he committed with the Grand Joust, but of course that means he has to commit with it using his mount to be able to kill Albi, and that means that, well, he's just left in the back with nothing. He has no mount for 14 seconds. Because unfortunately, he opted for Transcendence into Soul Eater, and only just finished that Soul Eater, so yeah, no cooldown available, mount up being 14 seconds. He kind of going to be sitting there for a long time, but not enough time to be able to get him out.
Cool. As Lancelot does come in, great Tectonic Shift. Lancelot does get the kill onto Albi here, and Geb gonna be soon after. But unfortunately, no! Humbats comes in to make sure that no, my Geb doesn't die. Your Kabrakan dies instead. Jingwei a little bit aggressive onto the Lancelot here, and 1 for 1. I would definitely be happy that you trade Albi out for your support, especially since, I mean, that's mid for support at this point. We saw last game that the Kabrakan was still getting mad value out of just walling people, not something insane, but Fear No Evil is saved for the Nike over here, catching that Sentinel of Zeus, and now 3 members of the side of Koomin and Zoomin over here, trying to shut down the solo laner of VHS best that they can, and even with all the
Oh.
abilities that they use, the Fear No Evil and all the time, Nike's just gonna get out.
There's just not enough damage that can be met against that Nike. I mean, she has Axe, Glad Shield, and Sovereignty. That's so many physical props that, yeah, they're, especially with her having Sentinel of Zeus, that's just, you're gonna have to pump out a lot more damage than you think if you want to kill her at the moment. Especially when you're a tier with no Glad Shield at the moment, opting for Pack going into Winged Blade, fourth Winged Blade, and Relic Dagger somewhat being fairly conventional for tier and usually always picked up, but not opting for Glad Shield is kind of limiting your damage a little bit, especially when commonly tier wants to pick up Glad Shield. Like, poor Albie. That was
Poor Albie. I mean,
quite a
let's be
massacre.
honest. The Koomin and Zoomin did this to themselves. They top picked an Opwash mid. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
As great as the combo has been recently, VHS is not gonna just take it lying down and have made up their countermeasures for it, and so they will.
If he's left alone, that's just what I would expect, really.
Don't worry, the tier was going to get a kill there, but instead, on the left side of the match, Koomin and Zoomin, knowing that they're on Pyromancer, is going to go and gank this Ishtar, who has been quite a pressure, and tier will indeed get a kill, his persistence eventually yielding him kill on this Lancelot on his own back camp. And a Gold Fury, now a lot more worth in the Pyromancer than he used to be before recent patches, so I feel like if you're Koomin and Zoomin, you're taking that trade. You get 2 kills. What, 2 kills for 1 kill? And then you lose Pyro for gold. So, like, that's just a net gain.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
both
and it
departments.
shows they're now Koomin and Zoomin now sitting at just 2k ahead, very nice and softly. Ooh.
Yeah, it's definitely something that Koomin and Zoomin's got, or VHS has to be careful of. Obviously, Pyromancer was a safer choice, but by doing that, they commit all their stuff on the right side of the map, and that just leaves Gold Fury open. And frankly, Slither on this Ishtar has been a target, I believe, in every single game. You can't just get 4-man ganked like 3 times a game and not be the target.
Yeah, I mean, and Ishtar, it makes sense as to why, of course, Ishtar is the target. She is somewhat of a character that definitely is able to be pretty easily ganked, so that makes a lot of sense. So if you can get a collapse on her, she doesn't really have anywhere to go. She's kind of forced to, unfortunately, just, well, death.
Just that. Very, very true. It is, and I will say, Koomin and Zoomin have done a very, very good job of answering this Ishtar. My only concern is Ishtar the only god Slither is comfortable on right now? I believe I've seen him on other picks prior to Ishtar's release, but I feel like if you're prioritizing him that much, it can't only be me only thinking this at this point. Nike tries to invade a tier. Okay. That is still there, but unfortunately I can't have much. But like, it plays Ishtar both games, and obviously Ishtar's a good pick. But it's clearly didn't work out very well in game 1. Like, obviously Blades of Retribution are really, really strong, but if I remember correctly, 50% of the game was Ishtar Blades of Retributions into Tectonic Shift into you're just dead.
I was kind of a little bit mistaken with that tier build. It actually does not come to be a Relic Dagger, but it is a Witchblade, and we're kind of seeing the effect of that. Look at how fast he is moving. He is going places.
That man is definitely
that
putting
Glad Shield.
that man is definitely doing the Zoomin part of their team
He's
name.
got a turbo engine on his back.
Now I just need a Shield of Regrowth. Blade of Retribution does come out, does get the beat out of Jing Wei. Jing Wei does seem to be winning this trade, but unfortunately the squad is here and VHS is ready and willing to help their Ishtar out just as much as the Koomin and Zoomin squad is ready to put her down.
Unfortunately, Koomin and Zoomin aren't able to meet anything with that. Just, yeah, they're gonna have to unfortunately let bygones be bygones and get farm where they can. Really, it's just farming simulator at this point. Unless you're tier, then you're just turning on that turbo engine and you're just gonna clear away the proxy, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it. Like, I'm waiting for this tier to literally disappear from the right lane because he's literally taking all their farm over there, and he's like, I need more blood.
And blood for the blood god sacrifices everything.
Oh goodness me. Definitely something that tier is very capable of.
You know how I said earlier about like breastplate of vigilance, push and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see it. I'm seeing that breastplate. I'm also seeing an upshot second Dio.
Yeah. I am also seeing that same result. Tier is getting ganked. Tier is dying. Wait. Tier is dying. Okay. I was like, please. Tier's dying, right? 3-man gank does get Grand Joust, Tectonic Shift, and I believe Sentinel too. Sound effect. Great ult out of 2 members, but unfortunately they did not combo it well enough. But release the Crips does finish the thing. Finish off the Agni. As it was either you meet Hoombat with his fists or you meet a dead body eating the ground. But there is another fight. Blades of Retribution does come out, catches the beats out of the Hoombat, who no longer has the ultimate, has the Ishtar passive proc onto him, so that little bit of attack speed is helping out, keep him down. But fortunately, the fight in mid is still happening. Nike going in with 2 other members, now 3 other members of VHS, and they're going in. That second ability, the barrier, absolutely bullying Albi. I'm sorry, Albi. Again, you did this to yourself. But great job in VHS being able to isolate the Outlaw Shears, and they go in for even more. Geb using Stone Shield onto himself. The Grand Joust does manage to miss, but unfortunately isn't able to do much more. And Geb cancels his rollout instead of just rolling away to safety.
I would say that, but unfortunately one of the main things about the Grand Joust is the field that is left by Lancelot. Cripple. And he rolled out straight into it before his CC immunity. Very unfortunate.
I mean, great play from both teams. Definitely think if you're VHS, you're telling your jungler, hey, we know you have a horse and you think you go fast, but like, we need you to stop going fast into their entire enemy team. Does net them a lot of kills, but unfortunately this tier doing a great job of following up and making sure that Lancelot does not get to play the video game when he overextends.
You may say that Albi did it to himself, but it's okay because he has that 40% pen, you know?
Oh.
He's got his 10% from walks, he's got his 20% from upshot, and he's got that extra 10% on the passive. He's raring to go. He's got all the percent pen he needs just off the bat. OP.
Wait. Maybe I'm a little bit more ignorant for this, but like, Push passive has 10% pen? Why are people not playing this god again?
No,
oh wait, I think we watched. Oh, Upshot. Okay, so the first ability. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a little less OP than I was led to believe in the past few seconds, but like it makes sense.
I was about to say if a character is just if a character power creep is going to be that bad that they're just going to get percent pen built in for free, like Hopkins flat pen for free, I think I'd be losing my mind, honestly. I mean, I know Top has his flat pen for free, but imagine a character getting percent pen for free, that's insane.
The fight does break out, Kraken does get pulled in the entire team. Great Grand Joust after a great Blades of Retribution. Gad forces Stone Shield himself out of it. Albi, yet again, a target of just pure death. The tier, being an absolute menace on the backside, does manage to get the support, but he is most likely to fall to the burn from Agni passive. And fortunately, that Jingwei needs to get out because there is a man on a horse and he wants your wings for his mouth, on his wall. There we go.
I mean, you could put it on his horse. I mean, that would technically make it a Pegasus, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's how evolution works, right?
Right, you just stick something on an animal and then it all of a sudden can just use them without like, you know, proper muscles to do so. You're completely correct in that. Oh goodness. Yes, Lancelot riding a Pegasus that doesn't fly would be hilarious. I'm gonna say this now. Yes?
Able to clear it just easily, no problem.
Nike was doing a great job of zoning there. Just being a nuisance, and then before Tim and Zoomin realized the actual threat. But yeah. I was thinking a hunting trophy when I was talking about that other thing, and you're just like, you know what? Chimera mode.
I mean, when you were saying it the way you were before you mentioned like as a trophy, and it was like you was like to put on the mount. I'm like, are you saying you want to put the wings on the horse?
I definitely could have worded that a little bit better, but yeah. High res, we need a skin where Lancelot is riding a Pegasus with mismatched wings that can't actually fly. There we go. That's my concept idea.
Maybe because we always have the April's Fool's jokes, and we had like all the niche skins this year. Maybe next year we could see some stuff like that. Maybe for Lancelot. I mean, the development tools are all over the world, and even for this Halloween thing, they did a weird thing where they mismatched models with characters. So you know you want to high res. Make a Jingwei Horus Pegasus Lancelot horse.
Oh goodness gravy. Oh well,
I think we should stop talking about it before it gets worse.
That's my game. Nike forced to use Sentinel of Zeus as a 3-man gank. Does get Fear No Evil out of that barrier, and Release the Crypts has just been used. That is 3 ultimates to kill this Nike. As VHS is 4-man strong, pushing down left. Don't know why Nike's there, but nice kill and great pool of abilities for VHS because there's no pool on the other side. You got Cataclysm, Airstrike, cool.
I think Nike was daydreaming or something, and he must have been thinking about victory a lot, and then just wandered into an enemy team. Whoopsie doodle. Unless maybe it was a 500 IQ big play just to distract them and allow VHS to take that tower. But I mean, they weren't really. Koomin aren't really in a position to defend towers anyway. So I mean, I feel like they could have just gone that free without the need of Nike sacrificing herself if that was the case.
And on top of that, though I thought they could go for that Phoenix Siege, unfortunately, both Lawbringer is already up, Fear No Evil already back up, very, very quick cooldowns, and Release the Crypts. All abilities that were used on that Nike and could have been taken off the board during a left Phoenix Siege. Obviously, safer bet to go elsewhere, but it's a little bit like...
Yeah, I mean...
I want to see blood, man. I want to see blood drawn.
All of Koomin and Zoomin do have that... well, aside from Albie, who does just about sit at 30%, we do have 40% coming out pretty much
Out of the
both tier and humpback.
My goodness gravy. Yeah, I mean, the CDR is ridiculous. Fight going on. I will say Kabrakan did blink in onto the Albie. Great engagement, I would say, but unfortunately, Lancelot also followed up and fell very, very quick short order. Does not have the Fear No Evil in the chase down, but unfortunately, Nike's turned around, and that means reduced movement speed. Mantle of Discord does come out, does help out the Nike here, but Airstrike does help out the Jingwei. That barrier then being a complete nuisance.
But
Unfortunately, that's too strong. This fight's over. Koomin and Zoomin, very, very... that was very, very strong. Like, I think that original engage out of VHS was a great idea. I feel like they were just on the wrong page, and that left Koomin and Zoomin with a, oh, hey guys, they're behind the T2, while half the other team's on the other side. Wanna kill them?
VHS definitely had a good initiation, and definitely could have took the floor with it, but as soon as things kind of got a little bit messy and players got separated, it was just kind of feeling a little bit unfortunate. I mean, they were able to take that counter engagement and say, hey, well, yeah, one of them's pretty separated, and they're fairly weak in using it. We used quite a few multiple ultimates already. We can just take the fight. They're already weakened, so we're not really too weakened. We can just take that fight and, well, we'll walk away with tower, and now we can set up the fire giant and take away a pyromancer as well.
Definitely easy for Koomin and Zoomin here, but looking down, and I was like, Lancelot's been getting in there, but I haven't been seeing kills. Might I direct you down to the Lancelot build where he's got Glad Shield, not the worst, but Bulwark of Hope.
You know,
like, I'm not dissing it, but like,
you know what I'm about to tell you? You're gonna hate me for saying this, but I understand why, because any shields that are already pre on Lancelot count towards his mount.
Oh, no.
So you can shell Lancelot, he can use his mount, and that shell will count towards his mount up for that duration. So if he's ever in a sticky situation where he is caught out, and he does have a mount of available, if he gets that bulwark proc for like 200, 300, he can very much get a mount. He can very much secure just a small little bit of his mount up, and he should be able to walk away no problems unless they're able to burst that shield down. Oh my god. There's the ultimate timeline, as I called it.
I was gonna say we need to stop predicting what this Opwash is gonna do.
I told you. Where is it? Where's the breastplate of vigilance? It's somewhere. I can feel it.
Yeah, but I'll have to wait a minute before we go in there. As a fight breaks out, Release the Crypts comes out, Grand Joust ignores it entirely and just runs through it. Unfortunately, this Flamethrower Attribution not having as much impact as they did before. Agni forced to beads in the backline as Tears being an absolute menace. But great Jingwei knockup to knock up 2. And now, a very, very scrappy fight. Agni does get 1 kill. Nike gets the other. Both the ADC and jungler dead on the side of Koomin and Zoomin. And VHS is just vibing at this point. All of them a little bit lower health bars than Koomin and Zoomin, but it's still like 60% to like 80% health bars. Opwash doing his best to do damage, but unfortunately not really gonna do much. Does manage to get them off the Fire Giant though.
Well, I don't think they were looking to be able to try that to begin with. A lot of the members still kind of looking low, especially the tank, so they would unfortunately have to back up and reset, start the Fire Giant. So we do see Nike actually teleport in, going straight back into the action.
Yeah, she is not ready to let Albie get away with this. He's gotten away with it way too many times this game. Opwash must die, but Tyr does come here to help zone them out, maybe get a little bit of damage onto the enemy tanks.
What damage? Huh? What damage did that Nike just do? I don't think he did any.
Oh no, the Nike didn't. Oh no. Oh no, and so the consumption of corpses has fueled the Opwash's will to live. As in the backline, VHS is like, it looks like they're trying something, but unfortunately Lancelot was going for a huge Grand Joust there, and unfortunately Tectonic Shift trying to save him in spite of himself, or maybe a lot of miscommunication, does cause the Lancelot to be all on his own on the other side. I feel like that maybe you don't go Kabrakin Lancelot, but Tyr does use the Lawbringer into the back line, does manage to get all the way in back, and now he's got the full attention of the leftovers of VHS.
And he's jet engineering out of there already. Oh,
yeah,
no, he's looking to turn it actually. He's coming back in.
Yeah, Sentinel is used on the back line of Koomin and Zoomin though, and it does look like Koomin and Zoomin realize, maybe we don't let the Agni just cast at us while there's a, double her health Nike at us.
I think I saw an Opwash get Phantom Shelled when he was half health, but I'm noticing something. He's
full health.
He's walking pretty healthy for a god of decaying corpses and stuff. He's looking pretty fresh out of the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going by like Final Fantasy rules, I feel like backing in that fountain should have killed him. But yeah, no, definitely. It's nuts, man. The amount of times I see an Opwash get away with so much more than they should. And then this game is no different, as I don't think I've seen them die since you got a Solar Reaver online, maybe a bit earlier than that. I'll be playing very, very well with this Opwash, making sure that he's using his corpses more for sustain to be a target than damage in most cases. So, I don't know. It's crazy, man. Why isn't Opwash getting away with this?
It's just Opwash. If you can't focus him. He's just how it is. If he's tanky, it's a lot harder to lock, and especially if he's continuously picking up the corpses, it's a lot more harder to lock him down than you think.
Yeah.
Especially with the high damage output that he still has with Empty the Crypt and Corpse Explosion if he ever decides to use it with a fleeting breath.
Yeah, definitely some crazy combos. As Agni does deal some damage over the wall, Albie is gonna go back, consume some of his bodies, and see it to be full health again. As now VHS is looking to catch someone, but Koomin and Zoomin very, very much aware what their game plan, what they want. Playing back way out of Agni bomb range, so very smart out
Really,
of Koomin and Zoomin here.
yeah, I think they certainly realize that VHS definitely looking to try and grab that choke point with tectonic shift, but Koomin and Zoomin are playing very well aware of that and are not presenting them with the opportunity for that chokehold, because of course, if that chokehold is met, that can be a lot towards VHS on Koomin and Zoomin. Now we're starting to see a zone for the Fire Giant. Maybe a damage check from Ishtar or potentially a full commit. It is an enhanced Fire Giant, so
Here is lurking. On the side of Koomin and Zoomin is coming in. Tier still lurking on the side, waiting for that perfect engagement. Inside of VHS, instead of committing to the Fire Giant, decided we need to go in. Blazer Retribution does come out, catches 3, does get have a Fear No Evil on the backside as Hoonbats does go in, and Agni bombs follow up onto that Grand Joust, forcing the Hoonbats into the gray screen. Sentinel and Zeus, great use. Lawbringer though didn't. Lawbringer was used to negate that stun, and on the backside, Lancelot's not gonna try to outbox a Jingwei in an auto trade. I don't think that worked out for you too well, as he's now also in the grave. Hopefully we don't see Lancelot coming out of one of those crypts of
he's got
Albies.
the bead. He's lurking again. Here he
Oh
comes.
no, Ishtar, gotta get out, man. His Fire Giant has been pulled, I believe. Fleeting Breath barely missed the Ishtars. Agni back in the fight. Do have Tyr, who's a little bit low, is trying to sustain off some camps. This Tyr's annoying, man. I understand why Koomin and Zoomin banned it, man. Like, VHS has not had a chance to breathe because Tyr's in their face.
He's got a turbo engine, and even though he isn't inherently as tanky as he looks like it, still has the base damage of Tyr, able to provide, if he's around his team, able to provide just a little bit of fair shielding towards his teammates with the hero tanks coming out. Just looking to overall be speedy and be an absolute menace.
Grab the camp out of Albi, but unfortunately Geb does get body block, Cataclysm forced out of him. And the Nike, not able to take no for an answer, is going to go in, takes a Fear No Evil into Empty the Crypt, forced the Sentinel of Zeus, the Jingwei knockup. Tyr does manage to miss the Ishtar with the Lawbringer Fearless combo, but unfortunately Ishtar not quite tanky enough. Great peel out of the Kabrakan, but unfortunately not enough. You've got a Tyr that's moving at Mach turbo, and that's just gonna be a nice 3-man cleanup for the side of Koomin and Zoomin off of an overextension for Geb.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that beast, which was probably a misclick for that blink. And, though it is really unfortunate though that we were expecting to see the Lawbringer into the combo, but it seemed like he was just the turbo engine needed to be turned down a little bit. He just about was too fast just to catch that Ishtar, and yeah, went a little bit too far ahead, unfortunately. Not sure if he was in like a sprinting competition or something, but not how you kill someone, that's for sure.
You definitely kill someone. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna quote an anime here. I think Anya Forger was onto something when you just throw jet engines on something, and this tier is definitely proving it. I don't know. It's crazy. I hate how fast tier can move. Like if the slap, I've seen Shield of Regrowth in the past. It's crazy. This tier doing so much for the side of Koomin and Zoomin here. Like,
yeah, just based alone on the movement speed he has, the damage he has, CC he's able to provide. Everything about him is just so perfect in a way that he can be annoying, he can do damage, he can do what he needs to do, really.
Yeah, definitely, and doesn't help that both the items he got recently when that whole tree got buffs, they decided to give protection, so also helping his Glad Shield damage. It's kind of crazy as Koomin and Zoomin gonna go ahead and start sweeping towers. Might look for a left Phoenix Siege here with their EFG. Definitely an easy thing that they can do. Side of VHS on the other hand, gotta be very, very careful not to step even a little bit. Will say, the advantages tier can't exactly just be behind you already. So they have that to their advantage.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. Have you ever seen a tier blink over that door? I mean,
Oh, he could definitely do it, but he's not starting out.
there's always the possibility he can't. If he is in your wall, he will appear. I mean, he can blink over it. Surprise, he's on the other side. What are you gonna do about it? Fear.
Just the fear of tier. But yeah, definitely something that they got to be careful of. It does look like Koomin and Zoomin does want to play for catching them in there. And Albie, oh my goodness, Gravy, Albie, please. The amount of shields I just saw was disgusting. I know that was Stone Shield and Hero's Axe. What's that other shield he has? He's just got, okay, he had a persistent shield for so long. His Lawbringer does come in to start this engagement. Fear No Evil does get that in. Blaze of Retribution does try to stop the Hoonbats and does get his bead. But Ishtar is going to win that auto trade, does use beads just in case of that Fearless from the tier. Does get both relics, the tier does. As Albie and yeah, we're just gonna be like, alright guys, it's a Phoenix. Guys, it's a Phoenix. Does manage to get the left bird. And with 2 members down on the side of VHS, they're just going to move the mid lane and try and sweep Phoenix here. But VHS is not ready for them to disappear quite yet. Tier does run away, a little bit zoned out, but the middle Phoenix has already fallen, and the objective has been taken. Koomin and Zoomin are quite happy with that result.
I very much imagine so. Being able to take at least 2 players for one of yours and being able to take out 2 Phoenixes. Especially when the more impactful Phoenix being the left side Phoenix. Still, even so, being able to take away a right tower as well, set them up, that can mean the next enhanced fire giant. They can set up and siege, great siege for that right Phoenix, and well, they could potentially look to win, maybe even if they were able to get a few more get picks just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it won't take long, but I will say, I'm not sure this Opwash is killable anymore. That is a build from my nightmares right now. All like good, decent items, but still other than like maybe the alternate timeline. But I mean, if you're gonna go that way, you might as well full commit to that one. It's kind of crazy. Opwash is literally just living.
I think Albie's falling. You know, I think he could have really gone for a shield of regrowth Opwash. You know, to help out with the. Give him a little bit more movement speed, maybe a little bit of power as well when he goes to pick up those corpses. Just something. Just a little. I mean, of course, Mantle does help. You get 55 of each proc, and you get that lovely 1 second of CC immunity and stun bubble, but, you know, just a little consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say this, man. Like, Mantle of Discord, a little bit underrated compared to Spirit Robe, just due to, you know, the stat differences alone, let's be honest.
I mean,
but
both of those items definitely have their own place. I mean, Spirit Robe was always a very prevalent strong item, very needed. Those 15% mitigations were just, wow, that was a lot used for one Opwash that will walk
one
away.
tanky Opwash. I feel like they haven't hit Tad yet to notice. Oh, wait, he's got some defense, boys. Maybe he's not the target anymore, though. I mean, we've seen supports get blown up in 0.5 seconds before, so who knows? Maybe that's what they're looking for. But yeah, I do agree. Mantle of Discord is very.
But I mean, yeah, they all
It's very good
they
for
both
what.
have their really different places. I mean, Spirit Robe became a very big necessity, providing 15% mitigations for being hard CC'd. Hard CC being very prevalent in this game, and of course, mitigations build, which was on the rise, always being very strong, and that's something else there. Even then, Spirit Robe just a little bit cheaper, giving 40 of each prop, which is still quite strong compared to the 55 of Mantle.
Yeah, quite strong. As I feel like no matter what prots come out, I feel like you're still falling there. They do get Yeet on the Nene. The Hoonbats does fall very early in that fight, but unfortunately, we lose the mid laner, we lose the support for the side of VHS, and now we're sitting here and Opwash is running at the Lancelot, man. Why? This can't not be allowed. Full health Albie, making sure to zone off the enemy jungler all on his own. Nike does get a Mantle of Discord proc onto them, but the rollout, hoping to catch up to her, doesn't have ultimate, but maybe can do a knockup here. And Lancelot with looking for something in the
Slowly
backside.
going
Unfortunately,
down.
Nike just prolonging the inevitable. Lancelot does get through, blinks past the entire enemy team, but unfortunately, you're not gonna get back on that horse. And now, third Phoenix falling in favor of Koomin and Zoomin here,
Nope.
and they're gonna take it and they're gonna go straight for this Titan. This Titan's dead. Game 2 and the set going to the side of Koomin and Zoomin.
Well, I mean, I don't think there was much uniqueness as there was in game 1, but certainly, definitely a very interesting set. Hey, who's pinging that tier 2 tower? Who did that?
Oh goodness. I will say the most unique thing is probably there's an Opwash on the map. Why is there an Opwash on the map? We don't know why there's an Opwash on the map. He just built tank and we all can't even get him. I don't think I saw his alternate timeline proc. I'm gonna be 100% real. I don't think I saw that proc once.
Nope.
Not
nope,
once.
Nope. He didn't even get low enough for that thing to even come. Yeah, I don't even think I saw him below full health because I mean there were fights where he was half health, but he just 2 seconds later, hey, I'm full health again. Thank you, corpses.
I definitely saw him on lower health, but it wasn't like I don't think I saw lower than let's say like 50%. Like 50, maybe got low to like 25%, healed off some bodies when there was like a full dive on him. But like that is definitely not a build that I would think would succeed, and unfortunately, it
I
very
mean,
much did succeed. And
and
let's just say that it's not
it's
just the upwash, but the tier as well.
it's not even like the numbers as well. Like 37k on Oppo, he was still pumping out quite a lot of damage, even though well he was a tank. But as I said, he has that 40% on the first cast, 40% penetration available to him right off the bat. So that will lead to a lot of damage for him. And certainly some silly, a lot of mitigated damage as well. 43k mitigated, just yeah, just about
I
adding up to the total of combat stand being way almost.
that shouldn't be allowed, man. That's giving me back like PTSD vibes of like back in Ravana mitigation build days where it's like, oh, you got like a buff to scaling and whatever. Proceeds to absolutely run everyone over because he cannot die. I think it was also what was it? The shield passive buffs as well was what really brought it.
Yeah,
I feel like, and if an Opwash is on my map at any point, that guy just needs to be dead. Like I want that man in the gray screen as much as
as
possible.
much as possible. Yeah.
Um, I will also give props to the tier as well, because the tier, the Gab, the Humbats, everyone did a very good job of setting up his Empty the Crypts. Just a testament to them as well for being able to set him out that Opwash up for so much damage that game.
That tier had the turbo engine. He did absolutely what he needed to do. So yeah, no real problems there, no complaints.
That will be the set 2-0 in favor. And set 2-0 in favor of
Zoomin and Zoomin.
Koomin and Zoomin. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for everyone who stopped by and watched. It's been a great stream to catch. It's been a great stream so far. So thank you for everyone stopping by, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.